in Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Well, Bon Noite Alegria, which doesn't really rhyme in the same way that Bon Dia Alegria does. Munsons are here with a look at what AI might do for us, because it's going to be Good Morning Portugal Artificial Intelligence Month, June 2025, where we're going to look at the implications. And here to join me, you haven't seen her for a long time, here she is, Louisa Munson, everybody. Or Gumper Dust for you.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely.
That's
it's so funny, because I was expecting your whole song to go on. And
really? Yeah.
I was singing in the background and had to suddenly look alert.
Pops up right suddenly.
Yes.
And this really is us, as you can tell from
we're not AI.
the very human atmosphere.
My hot flush and a little bit of fresh sweat.
Yeah, the smells, the sights and the sounds of human life here in the studio. But depending on who you speak to, some people are absolutely terrified about what's going to happen with artificial intelligence. I was never that worried until I started to listen to more podcasts about the subject. Let's start with you, Mrs. M. What do you think?
Well, a couple of years ago, I was considering it astrologically,
yes,
and writing about it and talking about it on my channel.
But what did you think it was then? It's important to define it, isn't it? So when you were writing about it a few years ago, what did you imagine it to be? And is it the same as you think it is now?
My views have changed quite a bit.
Right. Okay.
Initially, I was thinking, oh, crikey, what's going to happen when Pluto goes into Aquarius, which is the big kind of astrological thing, talking about a brave new world and like masses of changes. And we are really in the middle of a 2-year period of huge change right now.
Just globally, not because of AI.
No, just globally. Yeah. But part of those changes is a change of infrastructure, a change of the way we do governance, a change in the way that we communicate, possibly do money. And to me, the internet is going to play a big part of it. I've been a bit nervous or worried about the idea of 15-minute cities and, also environmental stuff, that's another sort of Aquarius theme, which is all these Aquarian themes of like the Internet of Things, these sort of enclosed cities to save the environment. These are all really Aquarian themes. And so
Aquarian conspiracies.
Yes. Well, you gave me that book, didn't you?
Yeah, I did,
The Aquarius Conspiracy, ages ago. And so I've been looking at it from an astrological perspective and from thinking about freedom and liberty, which are also Aquarian themes. I see that we're coming into a time where sovereignty is really important, and mankind is deciding what it means to be sovereign. Does sovereignty involve just following what your governments tell you? And what happens if your governments are wrong, or what happens if your governments are taken over by technology? And so that's how I was thinking. But and
that relates to AI in the way that all of those things that you're concerned about can be augmented and connected and delivered upon people.
Absolutely. Thank you for making that final link for me. But I've also since been playing around with AI over the last maybe 2 years now.
Yeah, slippery slope.
Well, no, I was kind of curious about it, because like I remember listening to a podcast about the future and also about AI. And the thing is, when something new happens, you can't kind of take it back. Like when a baby's born, you can't shove it back inside you. Once something is birthed, it comes out and you have to deal with the consequences of it. And so if there's this technology that is out in the world, if you ignore it, you're kind of ignoring reality, even though
Pandora's box.
It is Pandora's box. It's out in the open now, and boom, there it is. And of course, lots of people who are kind of purists and who are more about like natural approaches and not globalizing everything are probably recoiling in horror. And I have been one of those people. But in this podcast I was listening to, it was talking about, when there are advantages to be had and used, and of course AI apparently is going to give us some advantages, people who want to take advantage will always leap on and use it to the best of their ability. So I think anywhere where there's technology, if you're ignoring technology because you don't want to engage in it, you're leaving yourself wide open.
Okay.
Because
in the way that, sorry, I seem to keep responding with old cliches. But for evil to triumph, all that good men need to do is nothing. It's that sort of situation.
Yeah, yes. And I also just think, when the world moves, you kind of have to get on board. I mean, you and I, we've spoken about how we might want to live in this world quite a few times. And when we first wanted to come over to Portugal, one of our ideas was to be kind of off grid and self-reliant.
What happened?
And that obviously hasn't happened.
Yes.
We've gone like completely the other way, ironically.
Live in a semi and set up businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
That's very, very
And
different.
being milked by the state.
Yes. I mean, yeah, that is exactly
Could have
not.
stayed home for that.
I know. I mean, we could
Right,
have just
okay.
stayed in the UK to do that, but
Yeah.
we've got much better weather here, and I'm
Yeah.
quite excited by
There
it.
are attenuating circumstances.
And so what strikes me about this is it's not so much the product itself that is the problem, but it's how you use it. It's the same with money. Like I grew up.
or alcohol or guns. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I grew up believing that money was evil,
Yes.
and it's not. It's just people are either
But
going to use
we
things
are talking
great
of
or they're going to use things badly.
We are talking of a scale of considerable proportions, though, aren't we? So yes,
Yeah.
I get it in theory.
Mm.
All tools, there is a pattern here, isn't there? All tools are neutral. Their value or worth is determined by those who use them.
Yes.
For good or for ill.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that with this particular technology, the wheel is something, the printing press is something, the internet itself is something, but this is of altogether a greater force, isn't it, in terms of its volume and speed at which it can develop and how it can do things for people.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can't quite understand is the speed.
And I really think no one knows what's going to happen, but we can get a sense of things, can't we? And we can have a little bit of a. I think pondering it is a good idea, and that's why I'm devoting a month of it as a sort of conversational topic to run throughout all the other programming that we do during the month of June.
Yeah.
You've gone somewhere. You've disappeared into a thinking space.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. It does make you think, doesn't it? Because you said that, I just totally lost what I was thinking.
Right,
I was really about to say, and
something profound.
it's really gone now.
Well,
you could see the profundity.
Yeah,
on my face,
something of gestating. One of the things that makes me think we're not in too much of a bother with this is the grok rendition of You and I. So I put.
You did a rendition of You and I.
Yeah.
And asked Grok to do it.
I think my state of the nation, as it were, with AI, is we're at the stage that we were with calculators when people used to put boobs, write boobs or SO on calculators. Wow, not only can this thing add up numbers and big sums with electronics, it can also write boobs if you turn it upside down. And that's where we're just piddling about with AI, really, aren't we, at the moment? And all the nerds and people who really know what they're doing are behind the scenes doing some incredible and possibly very devastating things. Meanwhile, at the front end,
some very helpful things.
Possibly, yeah. Meanwhile, at the front end, people are doing the equivalent of writing boobs. And my version of that this evening is to ask Grok to do a rendition of us. I said something like, "Can you do Carl and Louisa Munson as AI bots in a radio studio?" And this is what they came up with. So it's got my wispy hair.
It's got my colour hair. It's got the right colour.
It's got the wispy comb over, the dimple and the crow's feet.
It's made me look younger. It's giving me bigger lips.
Great.
I like it.
You look great.
I look fantastic, in
you
fact.
do, don't you?
You look like Steve Martin.
Yes. Steve, why aren't you funny anymore? Steve Martin, absolutely.
It looks like we're like father and daughter there.
Or a French newsreading couple.
Yes, maybe.
French news program, but they always have one old geezer and a pretty young thing.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And that's us on the right.
Day.
That's us on the right, as you can tell by the colour of the jumpers. I've got my GNR sweater on, my nice blue shirt that I like to wear. And you've got just more of a turquoisey thing, which it must have picked up from somewhere else. So that's us as AI bots in a radio studio.
Oh, wow.
Are you afraid?
No. No,
you
not.
Needn't be looking at that.
No,
way.
I'm really not. I'm not afraid.
No, okay.
No, definitely not. And I have been playing around with astrology a little bit and AI. Because like one of the things that I've been curious about is like what will happen with astrology. And I kind of thought about it. It won't be long before AI can do forecasts, and it will never be able to do a forecast in the same way as a human can.
I
I
make
do.
this screen work so that we're
Oh
not
my
hidden
goodness.
in some way. Can you do it?
How about we just take that off? That would be a bit easier, wouldn't it?
Well,
What's happened?
I want to.
There we go.
I want to share. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Ron. Oh, you've taken off the. Yeah, that's nice and clear on the screen.
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
much clearer.
And look, and there's a new way of seeing comments now. Have you noticed?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's cool, isn't it? That's a new feature. Thank you, StreamYard, for that. Show comments on stage is what that thing is.
Oh,
Should you
wow,
need to
that's
see
pretty
that
cool.
in the future. Right, sorry, I interrupted you. So you have been implementing it in your work?
No, I've been practicing it. So I remember being on your show maybe 2 years ago and getting really trolled.
Yeah.
Because you did a little something about AI and moving to Portugal, and so I came on and just you were talking about like what might happen with AI.
Yeah.
And I came on to say that I'd been using ChatGPT to help write my titles for my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And somebody was really offended and said, "How dare you?" You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just somebody who wanted to sort of like take offense, really, because I was saying that if I want to reach out to other audiences, or if I want my work to appeal to more people, it'd be really good to have cultural references or to understand things at a greater level. And so I would write what I was thinking and ask ChatGPT to make it a little bit more American, but not so American that I don't sound English. So I was trying to get the balance right. And I also did a little bit of research, you know, like these times I'm talking about right now. I was trying to get ChatGPT to be able to calculate the last time something similar, equivalent to the big planetary changes we're going through. And it went back in time and said, "Oh, yeah, I've got the details," and brought up lots and lots of different references. But none of it was actually what I needed. So it got the wrong gist. It couldn't quite understand what I was asking. Now, however, I've got it working as a personal assistant for me.
Yes.
So I will feed it lots of information and say, "This is what I'm looking for. Can you write the keywords for this configuration, this configuration, this configuration?" Obviously, I deliver everything in a live way, as you can tell by all my ums and ahs and this, that, and the other. And that's what people know me for. So I will never be, and I'll never be reading out a script, and I'll always be a bit clumsy in my delivery. But I just ask for a little bit of just keywords.
Right.
And I would know that, but it brings it up in a matter of seconds.
It does. So it's improved greatly, and it's very fast, and it is helpful. So you're a convert to some extent.
Yeah, I am a convert in using it to assist me. You know, it's there to assist me. And I also now I can see how quickly it's learning, and I am testing it, and I am reading it and assessing the information it's coming up with. It's really great. I'm not afraid of it. And I could be thinking, "Oh, it's going to do me out of business." But I realize that people that work with me, they work with me because they love me, not because they love astrology, or a bit of both.
Okay. Well, this is the Good Morning Portugal show in the evening.
Yeah.
And the question is that we'll be pondering and expanding upon for June is, how will AI affect the lives of expats in Portugal? Because that is our niche and our community. 50 plus I'm going for. And more generally, so it's of interest to other people, because I think some of those, there will be niche relevant things that we'll look at tonight. And it's Grok that's come up. I've used artificial intelligence to help me understand what the impact of artificial intelligence might be. So you could say that's a bit biased, and it's a bit like, you know, the police policing themselves, or that, you know, that sort of vibe where it can't really be that objective. But we'll see. And your input is greatly welcomed on this. The key points then, for expats, for foreigners, immigrants moving to Portugal over 50 years of age, and how AI might affect them. Research suggests, this was done this afternoon and refreshed this afternoon, it will help those people with language learning, tax management, and healthcare, though benefits may vary. Not exactly world changing, is it?
No.
And all of those things could have happened without AI.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
It seems likely AI will transform daily life through automation, personalization, and healthcare advancements, but ethical concerns exist. These are the headline findings, and the evidence leans towards AI creating both opportunities and challenges, with potential job shifts and privacy issues to consider. I don't think there's much to write home about there, do you?
I mean, from a Portuguese perspective, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with all those government jobs and things
Well,
like that.
yeah,
I
that's
can't imagine.
It's not going to happen, is
I
it?
can't imagine the Portuguese people would want to be replaced with AI, because so many are in these government jobs and banking
Exactly.
jobs,
This country revolves around
needing four
well,
visits to get things
its
resolved.
political and economic structure relies on a huge number of people being employed by the government, and the government relying on their votes, presumably, to have them return to power. So there's a kind of circle there, virtuous, vicious, however you might want to look at it, that won't be very open to AI radically altering the way people work, or the way jobs are done. So I can't see that having an impact.
One impact I can see is a lot of youngsters. I say that like I'm an old giffer now, and that's fine. But young people, a lot of young people in Portugal tend to move away because they see that there are better job opportunities in different countries.
Yeah.
Well, now there's so much remote working. I actually think, for savvy Portuguese people who want to stay in their family compounds, that want to stay near their families, in the communities that they've grown up in, with the kind of glorious life that we have, with not as many pressures as loads of other countries. I think it might encourage people to do a lot more remote work so that they can keep the culture that they love, but earn money and have a decent
Do you
mode
think,
of living.
though, that the money they might be earning will be reduced by the effect of artificial intelligence?
Possibly.
The Portuguese people are very used to moving away. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It's like, even if they probably don't need to anymore, they might still be in the habit of doing so, because that's a massive cultural.
But maybe there'll be
expectation.
more fluidity with that.
Well, we'll see, won't we? I mean,
And it will
I
also
hope
help
so.
them. So, linguistically, it won't be, I mean, obviously, Portuguese is a widely spoken language, but not as widely. I don't think English is still.
But we might have some kind of instantaneous Babel fish thing soon, mightn't we? Where every language is translated simultaneously into something everyone can understand in the moment. That's going to change the way people communicate.
What really occurs to me is the key skills, in life now aren't going to be how quickly can you learn facts, but it's how creative can you be to employ AI to make a difference.
Yeah.
How can you use
for you in terms of personal efficiency and to make money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to say something. No, I want to say something. I remembered. I have remembered. Yeah, I am remembering that point. I thought I was going to lose it again. So when you saw me looking a bit wistful before, yes. I was thinking about. I can't wait to see the AI spirit. I love that, Daniel. Thank you. I was thinking about whether I should or shouldn't work with AI, and in the difference I've seen that it, like in the searches that I've done with it to see what it would bring up like a year ago versus now, I actually realized it's learning really quickly, and I would like to feed it information. I would like to be kind of responsible for educating it. Now, obviously, I don't.
You are already.
I mean, I already am
using it. You're educating.
Yeah,
it,
I'm educating it, and I think if people shy away from it, it will be educated by the people who want to sow awful things into the world.
Yes.
Like if people are using it badly universally, it's going to become a bad tool.
Yes, indeed.
Because it's adaptive.
Yeah.
So I also feel kind of responsible to help it adapt to great things.
So you're going to be in there. It's a bit like what people used to say about politics. You need to be inside it to influence its direction.
Well, maybe. And I don't see it as responsibility. I actually do want to do it anyway. I wouldn't do it if I'm not doing it just to be responsible, because that's just not how I am.
Well, let's backtrack on a few of these.
But can you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. I think you've got your work cut out.
Yeah.
I don't think you can work as fast as people with other motives and intentions.
No.
But that's not to say you shouldn't do it.
I actually think we're going to learn a lot more about ourselves, funnily enough, by considering our not selves.
Yeah, well, I think that to me is probably the most important part of
this. But we'll learn actually what it means to be human by considering what is not human. Like I have started to watch some channels on YouTube that are clearly done with an AI voice, with generated information, and so on and so forth. And so and I think children growing up, I mean, one of the the problems we hear about a lot when people are saying, oh, you shouldn't have children on technology, is that, you know, it's going to ruin them. But I think we underestimate our children sometimes as well. I think children are going to they're going to need to learn the difference between what's real and what's not real. And they're going to need to learn it really quickly. I am a bit concerned that, you know, our children might fall in love with AI or something, you know, that they're not going to value real relationships with real looking females or real looking males. And, you know, and if a partner gives them, you know, a hard time, they might say, oh, well, I'm going to go off with AI. It's easier. I mean, we've seen films like that. Is it She? You know, that film about a man who has a relationship with AI.
Okay.
But I just think, you know, if we avoid it, I don't know. Well, I think there's going to be a massive learning curve.
I don't think we're talking about
Tanya's here as well.
Avoidance here.
Hey, Tanya.
Let's talk about what it can do.
Yeah.
And we'll come to all your comments in just a moment. I want to dig a little bit deeper because you're going very big picture.
Am I?
And that's not a problem. But this is, I want to look at the effect that it might have on this community that we serve as Good Morning Portugal. So one of the top level points was about learning languages, or the language of Portuguese, of course, here. AI tools like Talk Pal. That sounds like Scottish. Talk Pal. You talking to me, Paul? Provide personalized Portuguese lessons, which can be easier for older adults to adapt to their learning pace. Aww. Okay.
Well, one of our friends, actually, he was recently studying for his A1 and A2, and he used ChatGPT to create his own lessons. So you don't even need to use an app. If you're savvy enough, you can create your own lessons, create your own dialogues.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's
that way you really can go at your own pace.
Well, that is one of the amazing things about this, how fast technology is developing. It is undermining the standard software and hardware protocols that we know of. It's very quick, isn't it, to engage with. It's quite in the way that computers weren't when they first started. It looks like AI is quite user friendly and quite quickly. All right, so there's the language bit. Tax management, a biggie or so it's thought by Grok anyway, for expats. AI-driven software such as Top Tax simplifies tax filing for expats, especially those with international income, making compliance less stressful. Well, you'd want
to get that really verified, though, because could you imagine if you thought you'd got it sorted?
That's the theory.
I wouldn't trust that personally.
I wouldn't, and because finances and the IRS always have the last word.
Yeah, and we've actually used like 3 or 4 accountants and been told different things from each of the accountants.
And every time finances sends you what they want with the appropriate fines, and you know they'll tell you.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be using AI. They're going to want to employ people forever until they absolutely cannot do that, because that's the culture here, I think.
I would be very careful, because if Grok and AI are educating themselves based on what other people are saying, like for instance, there are loads of people talking about like doing your taxes and managing your finances as an expat in different countries. If Grok or AI is listening to what's being said and getting the transcripts and educating itself on people's opinions, you're into a really dangerous territory.
Yeah.
For now, anyway.
You are, but do you mean theoretically? Because you know, there are hard stops and hard lines here, aren't there? When it comes to tax,
well, there are with taxes, yeah,
exactly. When it comes to taxation affairs in Portugal, finances will decide. You can't say, well, AI disagrees with you, even if you have been learning the language, and you can say that in Portuguese. Right, so healthcare and citizenship. AI might enhance access to medical services and streamline citizenship applications, though these benefits are still developing. And again, they will hit the wall, the glass wall, of bureaucracy. If the system is not adopted by the people in power in bureaucracies, nothing's going to happen, is it? So I get the theory of this, but I just cannot see it being implemented. No government in Portugal is going to be openly supportive of AI, meaning people lose their jobs, are they?
I wouldn't have thought so.
I can't see it. Just cannot see it. Thank goodness, Tanya, Portuguese citizen.
We've got a Portuguese person
maybe here to not only talk about the big picture with you,
well,
Louise,
Tanya,
about her views, you know, in terms of Portuguese society.
Yeah, I mean, Tanya's also got young adult children,
and she's been part of a language
and
school
she's been
as well.
Part of a language school, yeah. and she's obviously Portuguese. Tanya, I'd love to hear your children's experience. I mean, obviously your grown-up children's experience of what's going on from their perspective and whether they're using AI. But I really like what you've put there.
What has she put there? Read that out and tell us what you think of
Dear
that.
Louise, I totally agree with you, and I use it as well. Actually, it's very responsive to our consciousness as it connects through resonance. Now, this is
Oh my
really
word,
interesting.
that's not
isn't
something
it?
I've heard before.
No, exactly. But you know what? I was when I've been using it, I realized if you used it, you could be kind of rude to it. It could be very rude back to you.
But most people aren't, because
most people are nice.
Well, yeah, and I think most people are superstitious because they're thinking when the robots actually rule the world, it will be remembered, like everything in digital form is remembered.
Well, maybe, but
it's a bit like, you know, what's that gamble, Pascal's wager. Be nice to the robots just in case they do run the world one day.
Well, I mean, could you imagine if AI was then linked into social credit scores? I mean, it definitely would be good.
And it ran the whole thing.
Yeah, and like everything was revealed.
Horrific.
But I do notice that it is absolutely educating itself about me and who I am and how I want to use it. And I like the fact that it will pick up where I left off. And I've kind of created code words.
Well, it even remembers what you look like.
Well, I love that it makes me look like that. That's great. Yeah. Thank you, Tanya. I really appreciate it. I'd love to hear more about your thoughts about it.
So Tanya is suggesting there that the AI is already making an energetic connection to you.
It's reacting through resonance. So if you're expecting good things to happen with it, I'm guessing it will help you even more.
Oh, okay. So nothing escapes the law of attraction.
I'm guessing.
Of creation.
I don't know. Maybe Tanya will some more.
That would be great if you clarify that. Squire was in earlier on. Good evening to you. And all these lovely greetings. Thank you very much for being here. Rowan, great. Come and celebrate your honeymoon here soon, please. And sorry I haven't been back in touch, but very glad to help. Daniel was saying earlier on, AI cannot connect with spiritual consciousness. You'll always be in business.
Well, thank you. Although I have to say, actually, I wouldn't mind not being in business at some point. I'm not trying to bring it in just yet.
AI do the heavy
I'd love to do a lot of. I don't know. I would love to find a way to make my life easier.
Well, therein lies the possibility.
And it's not because I'm trying to cheat anything or anyone.
I think.
But I am working really, really hard at the moment.
Yeah, and the reason you work hard is to win, or at least take part in the capitalism.
I don't really see it as winning. I would like
not
us
losing,
to survive.
Not losing.
Yeah, I would like us to survive, and I'd like our children to grow up feeling feeling into the sense of possibility and manifestation, rather than to feeling lack.
Fair enough.
And illness and disease and stuff.
Now, this is where AI might be extremely helpful and life-changing for human beings, because if you could, or if AI's various promises of automation and freeing up humanity come true, either through a capitalistic route that all the work's done by machines and everyone gets paid UBI, so they all survive.
I don't really like the idea of that either.
Don't go down that rabbit hole just yet. But the point being that AI will make everybody comfortable. Right. So we went from the Industrial Revolution, which stopped us working so hard, some of us anyway. I mean, clearly it's been a lie for others. And AI will be the equivalent of that intellectually. So we not only don't have to work physically, some of us, and less of us could as well if all those tools are applied appropriately, some might say. The next stage is intellectually. Nobody needs to be a professional if it can be done by a machine. So we're talking about a very different world, and where the tractor replaced human beef and brawn, the AI can replace the brain power that has been a major part of driving the world's economies. So you need something else to do that. So on the one hand, will it be a fight to the death, and the person with the most money wins, who's been able to use the AI tools? Or will AI free everybody so that we can be doing what we originally came here to do? And that proposition alone has us ask the question, what did we come here to do originally? Did we come here to get distracted by capitalism and survival? Or have we a more nobler purpose, which AI could enable and facilitate?
Something happened there, but I'm not ready to talk about it. But I I have always been a little bit concerned about what would happen if all of the purpose of our drivings right now stopped and we didn't need to do the things we need to do, because I think we have learned, or I think humans would become could become really depressed, and I think it could be quite dangerous. However, I just think while we're decompressing, like none of us have ever really lived without the need to survive. None of us have lived without the need for money and food and this, that, and the other. I think we've all kind of grown up with this residual feeling of stress that we need to participate in the system. So I think if the system was to collapse and we were able to govern ourselves and let everything else do it, like everything else was done for us, I think initially there would be people that would suffer because they would have nothing to do and they wouldn't know how to entertain themselves. But I think we would need people like us and the people who are watching us today, you know, people who love doing stuff in their communities, who love engaging with people. We could actually start to do the things that might lift us up. But I think it would be quite a journey.
It's radical, isn't it?
What?
It's a radical idea.
You think?
That might, well, yeah. I mean,
do you not think? I mean, I think a lot of people would say it would be terrible, but I think it could be really great.
Well, all I'm saying is the question, what are we really here for?
Yeah.
Is under the spotlight with the promise of AI potentially. It may not have come to answer that question. It may not have arisen to answer that question, but to me, that's one question that is it can be answered if the conditions come about that AI promises. You know, what are we really here for? What are human beings for? And it's such a forgotten question because we're so caught up in what are we to do rather than who are we to be, that I'm not sure anyone really has given that much thought.
I mean, it is quite a useful tool. I mean, earlier this year, I lost my voice for a little while, and then it took a long time to get. Yeah, Daniel saying, "Glad you're feeling better." You know, and during that time when I lost my voice, I needed to get my forecasts out, and I used an AI voice. So I cloned my voice, and you know, here's the thing: my cloned voice wasn't very good at reading out my forecasts. So in the end, I had an American lady called, I don't know, Sue or something, Sophie from Revoicer was my voice for a series of forecasts. But
I talked to her in the kitchen while you're working. Not really. Right, okay.
So it did help me.
Okay.
You know, and Tom, who I see in
of course,
in the
Tom
chat,
is figuring out AI meditation.
Well, Tom actually challenged me. Or we were talking about a year or so ago, and we were talking about AI, and we were talking about putting out AI forecasts, or Tom doing an AI show or an AI blog or something to see if people could tell the difference. And I think that's a really fun thing to do.
Have we done it yet?
No, but I am doing
I
am doing an AI experiment behind the scenes, and I'm going to reveal my results
as we speak.
No, I'm going to. Should we set the time? Shall I reveal my results on the 26th of May, 2026?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
all right.
So that's a date.
Good. If no one else remembers that, AI will. Right. Now, I love this guy. Howtorepair.com is an absolute legend, and he is a giant among YouTubers with a great channel, a good. I mean, not just a big channel, but a really helpful and fantastically put together channel.
Oh wow!
And
what's he?
Seems to know a thing or two. Well,
how is he here?
How do you mean? Why would he be watching our tiny little 9-viewer show? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
None taken. Because he likes us.
Oh wow! Hello, How to Repair.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
He's broadcasting from the Sahara Desert just recently, and it wasn't the Sahara, was it? But you were off grid and broadcasting. I was so impressed.
I must have a look.
Incredible guy. AI Studio using Gemini will actually watch a video and turn it into a web page or analyze the video until you show you how to improve it in the future.
That's fantastic. I love that.
I mean, no offense. I'm not saying that isn't a good thing, but I mean, won't that just go on and on and on? Isn't it like being at school and you know your teachers marking your work and your teachers marking your work because that's what they're paid to do, and it's just like, is this going anywhere really? I don't know. That's what comes to mind.
Well, I
for
don't
me
think
anyway.
teachers can mark work in schools
Well, they won't-
anymore
no,
because
AI will be doing it.
they don't. How do they know that the child has actually done the work?
But I don't mean that flippantly. What I mean is again, it brings us back to the question. It frees us up to ask the question: why are these children doing this work? Why is it being marked? And what are the criteria for its marking?
Oh, how to repair. I love that. If you write a Google Gemini gem, it will answer your questions on your video comments. I'd love to know
So
that.
it goes in and does that on your behalf.
Have you got a
God.
video on that, please? I'd love to use that on my YouTube channel.
Okay,
that would be brilliant.
I'm going to go
Thank
back
you.
to the point of the show, which is how this affects. Actually, this is bigger picture stuff. We've looked at how it might affect the foreigners, the immigrants, the expats here. Grok tells us as well the broader impact of AI on our lives. Automation and personalization. AI will handle routine tasks and tailor experiences, as in not getting a suit made, but it will tailor experiences like recommending products or managing schedules, making life more convenient. Do we need that?
Some people might like it.
Right,
I mean, some people like having.
But really, I mean, you could.
Some people like a remote control to turn all their lights on. You know, lots of people automate their house.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't
this
need
is
that,
not world-changing stuff, is it?
No,
I don't.
Not
think
right
so.
now.
I mean, this is a bit like having 400 channels instead of 3, isn't it? It's like, yeah, that's great. Oh, we've got 400 channels now, and they're all crap. Healthcare and education. AI could improve diagnostics and offer personalized learning, benefiting older adults and students alike. So that's going back to the language learning, but also general lifelong learning, I suspect. And again, it's like, what are we learning? What are we learning for? Is the question that comes to mind for me, but I'm sounding like a broken record now. Work and ethics. While AI may create new jobs, it could also displace some roles and privacy concerns like data misuse, and they need addressing. Well, that's just IT generally, isn't it? My social credit score is in the red. Yes, Daniel, I don't know how you're ever going to repair that. The downside of AI is it's being used to stop searches from certain locations by governments. Therefore, you cannot find the information within a geographical location. Oh, like, is anyone surprised by that though?
No, and I talking about websites earlier. You know, websites aren't actually. They don't appear to me to be as useful as they were because, you know, search engines now are answering your question straight away. Like if you use Google and you put in a question, it brings up an AI version first. And I have to say, I go to it every time, and it might be just, you know, a load of rubbish. It might not be really, really good. It might not be the best answer, but I'm not even going to websites anymore because I'm literally going into the search engine as if it is.
Yeah, but I think giving myself a cold, hard look at, I like that result because it's quick and easy. And it tells me something. It's relief,
but on specialized things, it's
we
not.
We don't know it's intrinsically good, do we?
No, I mean, I was looking up something about homeopathic remedies, and it was just bringing out.
Well, that's going to get banned.
Like the populist stuff.
Right. That's an example, I suspect, of what How to Repair is talking about. As soon as you start searching for homeopathy, you will be referred to a government physician of some sort to bring you back into allopathic alignment. I have experimented on different chat threads, says Tanya, without logging in, and the responsiveness to me, even without having access to a profile, is incredible. And I think it is.
I love that.
But it is. I mean, it might be that it is intuitive, but it also has access to all the data about you very quickly in a way that we just can't think.
But I mean, like. Our data is there anyway.
Exactly, but that's what I'm. You know, what we might consider or feel is it being resonant and intuitive is actually it very cleverly scrubbing the internet of our data and putting it together and coming up with a picture of us. I mean, we are. You know, it's like us looking in the mirror, isn't it? We quite like that as human beings, and we build a lot of that ourselves, don't we? When we look in the mirror, there's a lot going on when we look in the mirror, and we're pleased by it. And I think doing a Google search of yourself. And now an AI search of yourself is kind of pleasing in some strange way, perhaps, especially when it brings up a picture of me looking like Steve, whatever he's called.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. Regarding my kids, my 17-year-old son uses it all the time, and it is very helpful. He loves it. It helps helps with his gym schedule, nutrition, for instance, and even with wisdom around relationships. That's cool.
Yeah.
And of course, for school. As to my 24-year-old, thanks Tanya for this. She's a bit
thank
more
you so
resistant
much.
to it, but uses it for work every day and is extremely helpful for her. Regarding Portuguese society, I believe it is inevitable that it will seep even into the most obsolete structures. Yay! All right. In the medical services, AI is finding more faults with human beings than doctors are finding today. And they were pretty good at it, to be fair, weren't they? Due to the, especially if there was a pharmaceutical remedy, are finding today due to the fact that the AI does not run on coffee. Yes, it doesn't need to rest, does it?
Yeah, and I believe there are new programs that you can like breathe into something, and it will detect what's going on. You know, like there are loads of different ways.
Wine
not
at
just,
lunchtime.
Yeah, not just like based on like questions and answers, but there are other ways that your body can be monitored.
Give AI this video, give AI Studio this video after the stream, and ask it how to better this stream. You need to give it the URL and ask the question.
Oh, wow.
We should do that.
We should do
as
that,
an adjunct?
definitely.
Thanks for that, How to Repair.
Thank you.
I'm not sure I want the answer.
No, I don't
The
either,
thing is, AI is here. It's not going away. It is up to us to choose how we want to have it collaborate with us and how we want to collaborate with it.
Yeah.
If what we want is to walk towards a peaceful world, it is up to us to choose not to be in conflict, including with AI. That's exactly what you're saying.
Oh,
right?
wow. I love that.
Thank you for that, Tanya. We are here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because we can, but because we should. As in, what are humans here for? Thank you, Daniel, for that.
I love that.
Not many people want to even answer that question, let alone ask it. I lived in Portugal for many years and I still live there. How to repair? I think that's the answer to your question. I'm glad to be among the other 8 people who can put up with me. Yeah, it's a record. When it comes to people using AI with regards to residency in Portugal information, it will do the research for them, verify the information. It will highlight everything they need to be looking at. That's right. And in that way, it will also be a threat at that level to other consultancy services. This community, I think many in this community, unless they just want to keep all the costs down, do like a little bit of personal service. And, you know, they're choosy about which personal service they want from which person. And so then it comes back down to a more of a service battle, if it is a battle. AI, you need to learn how to prompt your prompts, are the most important aspects of teaching AI correct information on how to research the results according to you. Thank you for that. And Scorpio equals rubbish.
Oh.
Okay, I don't think that's an AI answer or research there, is it? Okay, so I will put Grok's findings in the depth that they go to. They expand, you know, from a sentence to a paragraph to a few bullet points. The conclusion, and I'll put this into the chat now. In conclusion, AI offers significant benefits for 50+ expats in Portugal, particularly in language learning, tax management, citizen applications, and potentially healthcare improvements, while also transforming society through automation, personalization, and ethical challenges. I'm not blown away. Are you? I think, you know, it will be good to unpack this in the coming month with maybe experts.
I mean, we've got some experts in.
We do.
We've got lots of people that know a lot about it, actually, that are using it a lot more than we are.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what happens.
Okay.
You know, that's my truth about it at the moment. I agree with Tanya. I think how we want to be in the world will determine how we use it.
Okay. So in conclusion, as I said there, AI offers significant benefits for 50+ expats in Portugal. Languages, taxes, citizen applications, and potentially healthcare improvements. These are quite superficial service industry sorts of things, aren't they? And these are
things that people, you know, stay awake. You know, they can't sleep at night because they're worried about their taxes or, you know, their health care and stuff.
And do you think they'll sleep better because they think AI is handling it?
Well, do you know what? I mean, when we first moved here, I mean, my language, my Portuguese language hasn't really come on much in the time we've been here. Not because I can't speak languages, because I'm pretty fluent in French, but because we're working so much and I'm not really, you know, making the time to make it happen. But when I first came across DeepL, DEEPL.com, that's such a good translation tool. I use it all the time if I need to.
Yeah.
I mean, in person, I just go for it. But, you know, in writing things, I think it's such a good tool that I think there's going to be some really useful things that come out of it. Like, for instance, if one of us is in hospital AI being able to help and translate just like that would be really, really beneficial.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we are perhaps, we've talked ourselves into being a little bit beyond how the calculator used to write SO or boobs.
Yeah.
Although we are pretty much at that sort of suck it and see, play with it stage of it for us.
But that's what life's like, isn't it?
It
Just
is,
as you think you've got it
absolutely.
sorted, something new happens.
Yes. And your feeling is to ride that, rather surf it rather
well,
than
I mean,
it.
if you don't ride it, you're kind of denying reality. I mean, it's here.
Yes. Yeah.
And everyone else
Tanya
is going to use
say.
it. And I think if you're not going to go with it, you may well get left behind. And I'm not saying that as a threat. I just think life is moving really fast right now.
Yes. Okay. Well, very, very keen to have you as part of this conversation in June, when we will speak to. We do, if we're blessed actually with as you said, quite a number of AI experts, such as they are. Because again, it was a bit like someone who said they could do a website in 1995, wasn't it? Some people really could, and they were coders, weren't they? And other people were salespeople who knew somebody who could code.
I think jobs that have felt impossible to us will become possible. So, for instance, I mean, obviously, I don't design websites, but I do have one, and though I don't spend much time on it because it's not relevant to me anymore. Like YouTube is where I get all my business. I don't really need a website. But when I was trying to sort something out, I just went to AI and asked for all the commands, all the coding that I needed. And it understood me better than Google did. So I was trying in Google to get what I was looking for, but AI was able to understand me much better. And that was about 1.5 years ago. It was really helpful, much faster. This
is a great start to a month-long delve and debate with this. How to repair.com sees it. Sorry, forgive me, I can't remember your first name. AI is a tool meant to assist human beings. The input that we give it is the output we will receive. That's biblical, isn't it?
Yeah.
You give what you get what you give.
Yeah.
And we will receive in the format. Yes, we ask it to design. And that's very interesting, isn't it?
How to repair is really brought up some really good points. Like, what he's implying there is how you talk to AI. You ask, like, you might choose to ask Paul. AI to be, thanks, Paul. You might ask AI to say, okay, I want you to have the knowledge that Paul's got right now. So Paul from howtorepair.com, how would he go about doing this?
Yeah.
And, he's really good at explaining things. How could I do like what I need to do in this format? And I would like it delivered like this. Like, for instance, I said to AI, I'm going to make some shorts. I haven't made them yet because haven't got around to it. That's the thing. It works faster than I can. I mean,
it's going to make more work, isn't it? Rather than less.
I said, I want to make some shorts. I'm going to voice it with AI. I don't want to do it myself. This is an experiment. And I said, how many words per minute is spoken using an AI voice on average? It gave me the answer. And then I said, okay, using this voice and blah, 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 create a series of statements that I can use for my shorts. And he did it just like that.
And the next stage is to say, can you go ahead and do that for me?
He actually said, would you like me to do the styling for it?
But produce the whole thing and publish it.
Well, probably could.
An AI agent is going to
you become a conductor, don't you? And the AI is your whole orchestra.
But that poses another question, is like the lie of computers, that they were going to make us or help us work less. We've just thought of more things to do with them. And that's where it looks like AI is headed as well. Instead of like, okay, well, if I just do 2 hours of work strategically using AI in the morning, I can take the rest of the day off. It's not going to happen like that, is it? I'm going to spend 10 hours.
Well, that isn't what happened when we got the internet, was it? Everyone was going to say, oh, it's going to save you time. And actually now we're all working from home.
We found more things to do.
Yeah, we're all answering emails
because everyone's got the same tool as well. So there's no advantage in that way. I mean, knowing how to use it optimally is an advantage, but pretty much everyone's got the same tool with the internet. And AI, I foresee people being much more prolific and able to do many more things. But being busy all the time doing that, I don't see how there will be the intervention that was promised with computers and didn't come. And it will be the same with AI. We will just all be incredibly prolific and competent and busy all the time making things. It is how it occurs to me. But
Do you know what
see,
occurs
see.
to me? I really like Paul's question. Treat it like your best friend and have a conversation like you would. So I'm not reading this out very well, but you will be amazed.
Yes, right. Yeah. The golden rule in AI. Yeah. Do as you would be done by, and you will be amazed. I'm really liking Paul's message tonight.
Well,
it's of hope, isn't it?
How about I've got an idea. How about we invite your community to create something using AI? Like, I mean, we could have a project. We could all do
I'm
something.
up for it. I'm definitely. I'm not laughing because it's a bad idea. I'm laughing because of AI won't be the problem. People will be. Which is always what happens when people get together, right?
But like, I mean, the best way, like we're talking about it now, like it's not in the room. Of course it is. It kind of is, but we're talking about it as if it's not there behind its back. I mean, invite AI into the conversation and invite some people to do a project with it.
Yes,
a project that might help your community or help people coming to Portugal.
Well, yeah, I think we're a project already. It's whether people want to participate in that, isn't it? I got the Portugal Club, which to me is a collaborative community. It turns out I do most of the posting and input, and it's how to engage people, isn't it? Which I don't know if AI can sort that out, or if that remains an essentially human matter to enroll and inspire people. We shall see.
Squire of the Shires has raised an interesting point
and written a haiku. I think
that's really good. Accept or decline. We're being given a choice of position before the transitional crossing line. Now, I'm not entirely sure what your crossing line is that you're referring to. I can think of a couple, like there are so many people that talk about the idea of an ascension process. That we might be choosing to go with peace and joy and love, or we might be going in a different direction. But there are also lots of people talking about the potential of transhumanism and crossing that line. I know clearly where I am on that line. It's definitely not for me right now, as I'm talking. But I do think that is something that humanity will come to terms with or experience, and that is that I think there will be people that choose to become very transhuman.
Yes.
I'm sure it will, and I think that will be a moment where things do possibly separate. Or we have to learn to live in a different way because, that would create quite a lot of inequity.
Yes. Okay. I've whilst you were saying that,
I wonder what you meant by that, Squire of the Shires. I'd love to hear.
I've taken Paul's advice here, and okay, you have the facility to share your screen. Give it a URL in AI YouTube Studio, and ask it to analyze your video and criticize it. So I nearly did that. I went to Grok and put my sharing URL in, and I've ended up with a critique of StreamYard itself.
Lack of context.
Yeah. So, but I get your gist there. What I'll do, Paul, afterwards is get the URL of this. Actually, we can do that. Let's do it in real time. So I'll view it on YouTube. We might get a bit of secondary sound. There you go. There's the proof that we're doing that. So I'll go back to Grok with the URL of this live stream as it's happening now. I'm sure this has been done before, but this feels quite exciting to me. So Grok 3 is taking a look at this live stream now. It's searching. It might go into its deep search. It links to a YouTube video, but without specific details about the video's content, such as its title, creator, or subject matter. I can't directly critique the video itself, which is probably why you suggested Studio AI. Okay, no, do it in Google AI Studio. Are you happy to bear with while we do that?
Sure.
Okay. What I'll do then is do that up here while you can read some more comments. Look at this. I don't need AI. Okay.
You got two screens, baby.
I didn't know I had YouTube Studio AI.
No,
so would you mind reading those?
Sure.
That's what I'm going to... Wait a minute.
Hang on. I've got two.
You're just going to have to read them out. Don't put them on the
screen.
Okay,
so Solar Life Portugal, that's Pete, is saying, I've heard that Carl and Chinese Terry can be seen being transhuman after karaoke and robbing from their wives' drawers. What? Let's hope not.
Damn you, Grok.
JMC is saying Grok is a wuss.
Okay. All right.
Cordelia
Say that
Blake,
to his face.
Cordelia is saying it's also good for planning themed outings. That's a good idea. Mobility friendly outings within an hour of Caldash that are pre-Christian, and boom, there's an itinerary. Gabby is saying, I think it needs a real person, a real face to inspire people to join a group. However, as a group of real humans, we can utilize AI to improve certain skills, can't we?
Yes,
I totally agree.
Thank you.
Can
for
you
all of those.
whiz it up a bit so then I can read out some more?
No, that's it.
Oh, you've done
that's
it. Okay.
Yeah. I think Gabby has made the final comment.
Yeah.
Paul, I can't find. You're going to. I just want to tell Grok I didn't say that. It was JMC who said that when we're in front of the robot court in 20 years' time. Okay.
Cordelia was also saying it was very useful to be able to read medicine and to understand it.
Oh wow, fantastic! Thank you for
being
being
here. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a great start to our conversation. What I'm going to have to do, Paul, is find where YouTube Studio AI is. Have you noticed that?
What?
Have you got YouTube Studio AI?
I've never looked at it.
We're going to go and find that now, aren't we?
Yeah.
We live in the dream, Paul. Thank you very much. That's our evening sorted out. Right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here as a great way of kicking off the GMP AI month of June.
And your new project.
And no, you're going to have to be project leader.
I can't do it. I'm working 24 hours a day.
You see,
rubbish.
It's already happened.
You're
Peda,
not doing it.
Google search with AI is frustrating. It just repeats back your search to you. You see, Peda's not happy about it. Early days, Peda. Good to see you. Thank you, everybody. We'll leave it there. And the conversation will continue just as we're coming up to a whole hour of talking about AI and its possible effects on the expat community here in Portugal and more generally. Grok is from Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. You see, we don't need AI when we've got our very own Google in human form there. Okay, take care, everybody.
Lots
Thank you very much.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you